What is up, DTube Steam blockchain? So today I saw some good news in my phone and I want to do a video about it. So ViteX token is launching, ViteX mining is launching on September the 9th. If you don't know what the ViteX token is, it is from Vite Labs. Vite is in French. It means rapid or fast, I think. But you can say Vite or white. Maybe it's wrong pronunciation to say white, but VITE. Vite Labs, they have this exchange up right now, and they have their own in-house blockchain that they've done, and this, everyone has their own blockchain these days. But I mean, I've been following these guys for almost a year now. They make amazing Medium posts like what they're doing, but they basically have this like decentralized exchange up and running, and it's not fully at the moment, it's not fully decentralized, but they have their beta up and running, and it is probably at the moment the coolest exchange that I know of right now. And basically their whole goal, and what they don't like centralized exchanges, so they have their own beta decentralized exchange up and running that is working right now, with the pairings of Vite, their main sort of token. It's kind of like you can look at Ethereum blockchain and their ETH token. Here it's like Vite blockchain and their Vite token, which is the main one. So they already have their own half decentralized exchange up and running right now, and they made so many good posts about this, about exactly what they're doing. And I think even Vitalik Buterin talked about that he wanted to see death to centralized exchanges. And we also know that some other projects are looking at making decentralized exchanges, but I'm not up to date with them. I know at least that they are not making as many Medium posts, and Vite Labs is the only main team from what I've seen on Telegram and stuff like that, that they are the only main team that is actually seem to care a lot, because their Medium posts are spot on. They have delivered the product almost on time. Okay, it was sometimes 1 month delay, but the cool thing is on Medium they are basically updating what they're doing every week. They make like a weekly update, and I don't think they missed a single week for 2019. And it's kind of like it's one of these projects that there's not that much buzzword around, which is kind of cool, because I think that a lot of the cool stuff is kind of going under the radar. And I think that maybe this, I'm not a financial advisor, but I think that this may be one of these things that actually may be quite successful, because they haven't really, they started in the bear period. So they started to do their stuff, from what I've seen, around last year, mid 2018, and that was the bear period. And that they have been able to have a product out right now where you can trade, and how they seem to have quite a good grip of what in terms of intelligence about what they're trying to do, and like the competition. And they really care. Like, I haven't really seen that from many teams. I haven't really seen many other teams actually care. A lot of the other stuff has been sort of buzzwords, and this might also be it eventually. I mean, a lot of stuff in this industry probably will fail. I mean, even the whole thing with exchanging tokens and stuff like that, maybe in the future, maybe that will be an old concept, because people are just going to have their values on smart contract that makes them interest on a yearly basis at maybe 3%, and then maybe everyone eventually moves to that, kind of like gold. Like, gold is probably not something the average user ever will sort of exchange back and forth, but it has value, right? So they're launching their ViteX token on September the 9th, They at least wrote that. And what is cool about this, like the main thing about their decentralized exchange that you can go check out right now, you can just search on Medium for Vite Labs and like get up to date about what they're doing. But you need to do some reading to sort of get into it, because there's too much to explain. But basically, the cool thing is they want basically the users to earn the trading fees, and they seem to have a genius system. So the ViteX token, that you will basically be able to mine it by trading or by listing token pairs, or opening up a new exchange market. And they basically want to make, so if you hold this ViteX token eventually, and it's going to have a 100 million fixed supply that is being dripped out over a period of 2 years to Vite holders that are holding the Vite token that has a 1 billion supply. And they're also going to drip it out. They're only going to drip it out to Vite holders, to people that exchange on the decentralized exchange. And they're basically going to make it so the users that are loyal to the system, they're either staking the Vite token and sort of send quota to this decentralized exchange. They are gonna reward that loyal behavior with the ViteX token. And you may wonder, why do you need the ViteX token, or what will the ViteX token do? Well, the whole point with the ViteX token is people that are holding the ViteX token will get trading, or will get the trading fees from these decentralized exchange platform. So, and the cool thing with the trading fees is it will give out liquid value of the Vite token, I think USDT and Ethereum and Bitcoin. That means that, from what I understand, you're basically going to get paid in liquid value in 4 popular tokens, or Ethereum, USDT, and Bitcoin and Vite token. And that is all coming in from just holding the ViteX token. And it's only the ViteX holders that are where they're going to split up who is going to get the trading fees. But it's kind of cool. I know that Binance wants to do something with their, I haven't researched it fully, what they're doing with their so-called decentralized stuff, but their BNB sort of token thing. But when I look at it, I honestly look at it and I compare Vite to Binance, I only see centralized stuff with Binance. I even tried to get good support from Binance, because I talked to their customer support because I sent the wrong memo, and it was only $3, but they couldn't fix it. They said they would come back to me and fix my problem, get my money back to me, and they did not do that. They said they would do it, and I'm not that upset about it. It was just $3, but still, it's like, I don't really feel that Binance is really caring that much, and I don't really understand, like, they don't seem to have a great trading fee system. It seems like Vite Labs is going to do a better job. Now, I don't know if they're going to scale, if Vite Labs is going to get adoption. It's like, I'm not a financial advisor, but just looking at it from what they've done, what they've said in the Medium posts, and sort of the stuff that they have out right now in terms of this exchange that you can try out for yourself. And it's kind of cool. Like, you need to use a smartphone and you need to use the desktop right now to sort of verify transactions. So it looks like they're trying to innovate in terms of security. I'm not an expert on that, but that is sort of what I am seeing. So they're going to launch this mining of this token on September the 9th. And they're first going to have a test phase, or a calm phase, or maybe two months, where they're going to onboard a lot of people, and then it's going to drip out faster until all the 100 million tokens basically are out. And as I understood it, they don't want to have any inflation, They want all this VX sort of tokens go back to the community. And I know that that's been a buzzword with a lot of projects and stuff like that. And it's like people have to research stuff themselves. That's sort of what you realize after 2018, that like people have to look with their own eyes and sort of see for themselves if they sort of like something. But just by myself looking at what they're doing and stuff like that, it seems like they are on the right track. And this whole crypto industry, it's like you sort of have to follow the path and sort of learn from a lot of failures and sort of see, okay, why did all these other projects fail and why can this maybe succeed? And eventually projects are getting better. Like you're learning to discern and to sort of find more interesting stuff that may actually work. So it's kind of cool how our functional intelligence is like, it's getting smarter. So I'm really excited about this because not only that I've tried to discern myself what it is they're trying to do. I almost read all their Medium posts and I've educated myself of like, okay, what is it that they're trying to do? Can this succeed? And then I've seen they actually like put out a beta thing right now. And even in the past also they had their wallet up and running, and I saw that it was nice design, it sort of worked, clean interface, they sort of understand communication and care. And that is something that I like. That's something I started to look more at teams, like, do they have the social intelligence to sort of care about people and to sort of make updates, like just a weekly update or something like that? And this team seems to have that social intelligence, and that is sort of why I'm sort of like following them a little bit on the side. Even though, I mean, you know, when you've been in this industry now, that like 99% of staff is probably gonna fail, because it's like, maybe, you know, many times it's just that the competence is not really there. But when I'm looking at this, it seems it does have some competence, and that their blockchain is fast. They're sort of using a similar system to what EOS is using. I think 21 faster computers or something like that. So you can do you can send tokens almost in real time, and that you don't have any gas fees. You can do some quick proof of work and it just sends the Vite token away, and then all of these other tokens that they will. It's kind of cool because they have sort of like a scalable system where they sort of seems to innovate on, like Binance, they still have their own centralized exchange place where they sort of roll and decide what should be in there, while Vite seems to be thinking more, how can we allow users to make their own markets and list their own pairings, list their own tokens and create their own tokens and burn tokens. It seems when you're looking at it that this is a lighter model of Binance, it's a smarter model of Binance, and it seems like they're innovating more than Binance. And I don't see that many teams like innovating in terms of this, because there's very few teams that lack competence. So it's not just about having like an exchange place up and running, because we have a lot of exchanges with like almost no volume, and they don't have any incentive to sort of hang around. But this might actually be, the VX token might actually be what sort of makes people hang around, because they have incentive. Because they're gonna create, like, of all of these trading fees, they're gonna drip out 1% per day to VX holders eventually. And that makes it so people have incentive to sort of hang around, because they want the trading fees, right? They want something. You want systems that rewards loyal and active people. And that's something that DTube is kind of succeeding with, from what I'm seeing, that we're going to see more of this move towards not just fake reputation, but trying to actually see how can we actually put tokens in active people and loyal people. Because if you do that, eventually you probably get quite a good system where it's win-win on all sides. And that is also what you need with exchanges, that you do have trading fees or something that makes people hang around. something that's real liquid value. So BTC, Ethereum, USDT, it already has value, right? It's being traded on other places. Same as the Vite token, it's being traded on their own Vite, I think it's called ViteX, the decentralized exchange. And yeah, it's paired to BTC. It has liquid value, and people that they create liquidity, which is something that a lot of companies, or a lot of people in this space, they haven't really looked at how you can reward liquidity. And we sort of got it closer to, well, like Bancor, they tried a little bit, but then was like big fat fees to sort of trade, but it was a little bit of a step forward. But this seems to be the ultimate, that you actually get liquid value from the trading fees instant back to other people. It seems to be the smartest way to sort of create liquidity, where instead of people focusing so much on the trading value, like how much is this token worth on the market, you sort of want it so people are more fascinated in using something, so they don't even care about the value, because they see that the system is fair, they see the scaling possibility of like limitless value, and then maybe they don't care that much about a dollar here and there, because maybe they can see that the product has long-term scale potential, and they see that proper content is rewarded, or if you're providing liquidity for an exchange, a decentralized exchange, you're sort of getting properly rewarded. And then eventually in the future, we'll probably, as I said, people may not even use exchanges. People may just deal with smart contracts that sort of creates value by creating large pools of wealth that sort of back something and locking up a value, and like it's a lot about dripping out value in efficient ways and making that value flow to the right places. Because if it doesn't flow to the right places, you sort of eventually get into corruption and stuff like that, and you sort of try to minimize corruption. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time, because you need a lot of people in this industry to sort of look at things, and sort of even stuff that fails, like people can learn a lot from that. Stuff that succeeds, people can learn a lot from that. When you combine these two, failed projects and successful projects, and you sort of try to learn from failure and success, eventually you get better stuff coming out. Because humans are smart. Humans learn. Eventually, humans learn from, okay, this is not what to do. This is what we should do. And yeah. So yeah, the ViteX token, the mining starts on September 9th. When I'm doing this video, it might change. Sometimes they have changed stuff. They said sometimes they delay stuff 1 month here and there. Like stuff can pop up. But when I checked my phone right now, I think it's September 5th or something like that, it seems like it's going to start in a couple of days. So I think we're gonna have some fun months. Some fun months here at the end of 2019. We have cool smartphones coming all the time. Note 10, Galaxy S10 Plus. I think the new iPhone, some new iPhone maybe comes soon. And you have a lot of projects back to sort of coming soon, I think also. DTube is doing a lot of stuff. And yeah, I think people were expecting maybe early 2018 that we would get onboarding, but it was just too early. It's just too early. But it seems that these months are going to roll pretty quick now, and then we're going to get into 2020, 2021, 2022, and we eventually going to start to see some users starting to use stuff. Probably. Yeah. That's cool. That's what I want to talk a little bit about today. And in some ways, the beer, we may still actually be in a bear market. I'm not sure. I mean, exponential industries is like, in some ways, they are not really in a bear market, because you do have silent innovation somewhere, and people are pinging each other all the time, daily, So I sort of feel that eventually, I mean, people in a way, it's almost in a constant bull market in a way in terms of innovation. It's just that sometimes the bull is a little bit more quiet. But yeah, this is kind of cool. You have to remember that 100 million tokens, that's not that much. 100 million tokens is not that much, because almost all projects now has like 1 billion plus or something like that. So 100 million is not that much. Ethereum has 100 million. Yeah. And it's kind of cool. Like, this liquidity aspect is kind of fascinating, because I think there's going to be more value in terms of sort of be a speculator or use educating yourself, because a lot of people are going to have value and they're going to see, well, even if they're using something and they get a little bit of liquidity, they're sort of good, right? So this excess of value that they eventually have, they can sort of look at, okay, can we like experiment with more stuff, see if we can make other systems better as well. A lot of this is just about getting people on board. It's just about getting people on board new technology, or just exploring with new technology, and upgrading people to the latest smartphones and stuff like that. Because even stuff like that, like when people are all on high-end smartphones and stuff like that, that's going to speed up things even more, because that's something that usually people don't think about. But when people have to use a desktop to do stuff, to do trades and everything, it slows everything down. When people can have an app for everything and have all this advanced technology inside of that app, and it's like open and transparent and all this, and even have some privacy stuff eventually in the future, like you need both of these systems probably, then stuff is going to speed up even further. Yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. Have a great day, DTube and the Steam blockchain. September 9th. That is the last thing I saw on my phone with the ViteX token. And the ViteX token is just as the Vite token. I mean, it's a token that is launched on the Vite blockchain. And they're gonna have a bunch of other tokens as well, and it's so cool how people can issue their own tokens and stuff like that, and basically lowering the cost of that, it's eventually gonna be quite cool. I accidentally launched a token on the EOS blockchain for like $80, that because I paid for RAM and I thought that RAM would like recharge, and it did not. That was kind of that was not good. But yeah, I mean, it's like at the moment it seems like I think you can create some token on maybe a couple of more blockchains, but there's not that many. But eventually in the future it's probably just going to be one click, and people can experiment around. Key thing is that people can experiment with stuff and see what comes out of it, and then eventually we're going to laugh at a lot of failed stuff, and we're going to be like, whoa, this thing really was successful. Because some things are really going to take off. Most stuff is probably not going to take off. But it's probably not because of the technology or stuff like that. It's probably because of a lack of competence. Or lack of timing is also one of these things that people usually don't consider. For example, Bitcoin had a good timing. After the bailout of banks 2008, it was kind of good to launch it in 2009. So in early January the 3rd. So it seems to be like the timing and competence is, you gotta time things. Yeah. Have a great day, DTube and the Steam blockchain. Bye bye.